Well, hello to everybody. My name is Ksenja Hauptman, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. And thank you ever so much for this nice introduction of ours. May I just inquire if you can see my presentation, please? Okay, perfect. So let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into our journey of the self-assessment. We actually executed our first self-assessment in 2017. At that point, as a Ministry of Education, Science and Sport, and the second time in 2020, again as the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport. And at that point, when we actually implemented our second CAF action plan fully, we kind of felt ready to go on to CAF external feedback procedure. And in 2021, we actually got the ECU label as the first ministry in the Republic of Slovenia. So in this year, we've actually just wrapped it up, our third self-assessment, but this time as a Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. So, but before I will tell you more about our journey, I would just like that you bear me with just a few facts of the Republic of Slovenia. There are about 2 million of us. We've been a member of European Union since 2004, and we've held the presidency of the European Union in 2008 and 2022. We are also the land of the top athletes. Why am I telling you this? I would like that you remember the Olympic Games that went on in 2018. At that point, Slovenia, even though it is a land of top athletes, hockey is really not our best sport, like I would say skiing is, or basket with Luka Doncic. So this time Slovenia had about 1,000 registered hockey players, and the United States about 250,000. And that would accumulate a quarter of Slovenia. So why am I telling you this? It was not expected that the Slovenian team, and I put emphasis on team, would beat the USA team, but they did. And it was kind of the same with us. At the beginning, when I was asked to be a head of this project, I would say an absolute no. I wouldn't go with it. Having experience from the EFQM model and understanding the big picture, understanding all the data that we need, understanding all the inputs and all the effort that we have actually put into this process, I really didn't want to go with it. But then I started thinking about what actually do we need? What inputs do we need? And I started thinking about the people. And I said, okay, if I gather a group of people that would cover all major areas of the ministry's fields of responsibility, and if I kind of join these people from the different areas or different internal units of the ministry, with their knowledge and experience, which would go according to all CAF criteria, I might have a win-win situation. So I embarked on this journey. And I spoke with every potential member of the project group beforehand. I explained CAF, and I explained their role in the project. I also explained their gain, what's in it for them, to understand the bigger picture of the ministry, to get info from all of the internal units of the ministry. And so, we started out. And I think the education process, it's quite important at this point. So besides a day workshop that is assigned in the Republic of Slovenia for all of new CAF users, we would perform short workshops before entering any new phase of the self-evaluation process, which empowered my colleagues with the knowledge to understand exactly what is it ahead of them. And what I would suggest really, really warm-heartedly is to exchange the best practice with other ministries. We did that many times, we're still doing it, and it's really illuminating process, and you can learn a lot and you can implement other practices at your organization. What we also think it's a very good practice is conducting a satisfaction survey on CAF project group members after, of course, the project is finalized. So I spoke about what worked well. And now I will give the floor to my colleague Mateja, and she will be speaking about something that was graded not so well when we received our issue label. And that was communication, internal communication mostly. That would be in regards to our CAF project. So in this round, with the new ministry, with the new communication activities that we have at this point at the ministry, we have also embarked on a new path of the communication of the CAF itself and, of course, of the CAF outcomes. Mateja, there you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip and Thomas, for the introduction earlier, and thank you, Ksenja, for the opportunity to be a part of this presentation. Yeah, as Ksenja outlined, what worked well, we really did question ourselves what we should upgrade, what we want to improve in this process of the CAF that is taking now. Yeah, and as she mentioned, this time we put more emphasis on the communication plan. So when we were thinking about activities of the communication plan, we first thought about who the activities relate to. So we divided them into 3 groups: management, all employees, and the self-assessment team. And then with Ksenja's enthusiasm about CAF and her warm energy, her warm energy was used to introduce the importance of the CAF to the state secretary and to the head of minister's cabinet. And she also got the spot in the minister's calendar. So she got the opportunity to present the importance of the CAF to the minister too. And just maybe, Ksenja, you can come in and just share your feelings and moments in that, if you are willing.
Sure. I mean, it's always a challenge because I've been here at the ministry for, I don't know, 12 years, I guess, and I've changed 10 ministers during that time. So it is always a challenge for us to proceed with our activities, to go on. And always, every time we have to present ourselves, we have to present our inputs. You know, we have to go with the actions that would actually be able to implement through CAF. And well, I believe that the introduction to Dr. Papic was quite nice. And he is a sponsor of this project as well as the Secretary General, which I will speak about more later on.
Thank you, Ksenja, for sharing the experience. And the next step surely was to report to the minister's executive team. We already presented the self-evaluation report. And also, as Ksenja mentioned today, was the presentation of the Action Plan 2024. So when regarding all the employees, it is very important for us that all the employees get a sense of why CAF is happening. That is why the minister sent an email announcing the launch of the CAF process. as well as a kind invitation and request to attend the CAF process themselves. Quality section was set up on the new intranet of the ministry. There was a publication of the main information on CAF. Why this project? Why is it important? What does the model allow? And also newsletter of the ministry, Povezovalnik and Vezi. There was a brief information on the start of the self-assessment. For the self-assessment group, a group was created in the Teams platform where all the key information are collected. With the group created, we also wanted to provide a space for each individual member, his or her own channel, which was used for internal evaluation of individual CAF criteria and also for internal notes if they had them. And besides the Microsoft Team group, there was an outline of the CAF process so that we could know in which state of the process we are in at any times, and the textual description of the CAF process too. So Ksenja, if you please, yes, thank you. So what we have on to-do list from now on, for the group of management, we have to report to the minister's executive team. From today on, we have to report only on the action plan activities yearly. And regarding all employees, the infographic of the key conclusions of the CAF self-assessment will be made. The publication and dissemination of information about the published Action Plan 2024 on the internet for all employees to see will be launched. And we are super proud that we come up with an idea of short video of the results of the CAF team's work. This short video will contain an introduction of the CAF process, a presentation of the Action Plan CAF 2024, presentation of the CAF members team, and key information on CAF. And this is about a CAF communication plan. So before we move on to the action plan proposals, we give the floor to you, to your question. Philip, Thomas, are there any in the chat maybe already?
Yeah, thank you, Mateja and Ksenja, for this first part. This was the institutional setup, no? How you set up the CAF program. Yeah, if I may ask the other colleagues in the room, I'm sure there might be some questions, so please take the chance and yeah, put it into the chat or yeah, just switch on the microphone. Are there any questions? Please let us know.
When questions come in now, in between, maybe can you maybe explain us a little bit on your team's approach, how this works? So you made for each member of the CAF self-assessment team, as if I understood it right, one, is it a channel or something like that in the teams, where just this person could use, I don't know, could use it for.
There were several channels, depend on what the channel will be used for. So we have a separate channel for, I will just help myself with the visual. There was a separate channel for all the documents that are needed so that we could self-assess the process. And there was a channel for action plan, so we have this separated, and then self-evaluation report, and all the meetings were placed in one of the channels so that at any times we could look what we decided on the next on the previous meeting, or what will be the next topic of the next meeting. And of course, every group member had his own channel where he had his notes, or just to put our minds or Ksenia's reminders into the channel, so that they will not forget something, or they will have all the information were placed at one time. And also, yeah, there was when we did the CEPA evaluation report, we made Excel sheet, and it was placed for everybody in everybody's channel, so that they could learn. I'm sorry, I lost the word.
So what Mateja is trying to say, that
yeah,
we had channels, and we have lines when we could share our thoughts, and they were for all of us. But you also have individual channels, and those were meant for individual grading and assessment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a quite innovative approach. So to collect.
I mean, we are happy to share. If somebody would like to see, we cannot share right now because we have presentation on. But yeah, sure, no problem.
This is what we are always searching for in this group. So innovative new, how to say, tools and approaches. Can I have two more questions?
Of course, yeah. We have also Elda here.
No, then let's take.
There now the questions are coming.
Okay.
So it always needs a first question, and then the others follow.
It's good.
Okay,
Perfect.
so if then I take the first questions from Elda. How many members had the evaluation group, and what is the composition of the group?
We had 13 members this time round. And the composition of the group is really, really different. As I said beforehand, that there are people from different internal units of the ministry, of different age, of different sex, of different experiences, of different level of management and non-management, and also utterly operative employees. What else? Did I forgot something? Mateja, can you? I think, yeah, that's it. We were really, really heterogeneous group. And I think that that gives a lot of opportunities for ideas to be shared, because there are a lot of different point of views, a lot of different perceptions. I believe this is what makes a CAF team a team, and yeah.
Okay. We have another question. Did you communicate your action plan to external stakeholders?
So the action plan was just accepted today. And as I said, we are at the end of our process, the third process, and we have not yet incorporated in our actions the external stakeholders, but yes, we are thinking about it.
Okay. So you definitely plan to forward the action plan or parts of it also to other interesting stakeholders afterwards, yeah?
Hopefully, yes.
Maybe the next question.
But Björn opened here his video. Maybe he wants to ask by himself.
Yeah.
Björn, would you like to? Because I see you are here with video.
I hope my audio is okay. That's why I put it in the chat. Just quite interested in, because you have this communication plan, and later on to that more. But during your when you communicate with the different levels of management, for example, the minister, how may I ask how you prepared your presentations to make CAF itself really appetizing, or quotation marks sexy, to the different actors in management? Did you connect it with prioritized goals or strategies, or what was your approach?
I approached the topics that are needed to be approached in the context of the new ministry that we have. And I really thank you for this question, because I will be actually at the end of my presentation, that's the thing that I will talk about.
Okay, so we are very much looking forward then to also to this final statement, and also this or recommendation. Are there any further questions to Ksenja and Mateja? Thomas,
no, I think that
okay,
we can do it later on.
Okay, then I would say so. Thank you for this first part, and let's go on.
So we will continue with the improvement journey. Here are some activities outcomes by now. We will further on focus on 4 of them. Recognitions of deserving employees, preparing the mission, vision, and values, povezovalnik and vezi, and working environment questionnaire, employees' eyes. So if you please change the slide for me, Ksenja. And the next one. Thank you. So this is the first one, the recognitions to deserving employees. The first employee who was recognized for its effort was awarded in 2017, rewarded for the humanitarian work. Then in 2021, the rules of the recognition at the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport were adopted. And later in 2023, the rules were adopted for the existing ministry. And how we did it? How is this activity actually divided? It is divided into 2 calls. First call is where the invitation to all employees is sent out. Other employees are invited to submit the proposals for the recognition to deserving employees. These proposals for the recognitions must be substantiated, and the circumstances justifying the recognitions must be stated. And if I may add at this point, how hardly they write the proposals, because they really want to want for their colleague to be recognized, to get the recognition, because I had the first-hand experience in this. I had the opportunity to be a member of the committee that reviewed the proposals. So they are absolutely amazing. And then the second call is in form of anonymous survey. Throughout, the employees can vote for the person whom they value the most, for professionalism and quality of work, for responsibility, good cooperation, willingness to help, creativity and improvement of procedures for the citizens as well as the ministry, or other values that are most important to them. Can you go please, Ksenja, on the next slide? Thank you. So this is surely an example of the work on the very personal level, and how best to convey the meaning of the recognitions than in the words of the recipients. One of them said, the recognition was a great surprise, confirmation of my past work and motivation for my further work. And this one is a very nice one too. It can also represent a source of motivation for other employees for their active participation in exchanging the functioning of the state administration. So I will leave Ksenja to present to you the other 3. Ksenja, you have to turn on the microphone. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it works better if it is on. I agree. So we've prepared for you another 3 actions that we would like to share with you. And the first one is preparing the mission, vision, and values of our ministry. Actually, this was CAF Improvement Action #1 ever from 2017. But of course, I will not speak to you today about the procedure that we have in 2017. I will speak about today. And we've just accepted our new document, mission, vision, and values. And how did we do it? We invited all employees to participate in 2 workshops. I was very happy that Minister decided to be head of these workshops, and he actually himself led those workshops, and he decided to take on the methodology of Edward de Bono, divergent thinking, 6 thinking heads. So after the first workshop, all the suggestions and contributions from the employees were put into one final document, which was an input for the other workshop. And we accepted this document in a very, I would say, relaxed atmosphere. As you can see, our minister here and people laughing, people enjoying themselves, people contributing, people speaking freely about what they believe our proposition is and where we should go. So at the end of the workshop, we also conducted a survey, and participants expressed a strong satisfaction, especially with the events organization, with professional execution, with fulfillment of workshop objectives, and with the final outcome. And of course, 96% of respondents would say that they would like to see more workshops led by our minister. The improvement journey #3 that we would like to share is again something that started in 2017, when we identified that we actually need a kind of internal communication channel that would actually join and put the information from one unit to another unit, because this was the most problematic at our ministry. So we got last year povezovalnik, vezi, which would be kind of translated as connector and linkages, but it doesn't just sound so good in English like it sounds good in Slovenian language, because the name of both newsletters are derived from the acronyms of the ministry, which corresponds to our areas of work. So what is it all about? Povezovalnik, it's a 14-day newsletter and provides a short and concise information. And if you're interested in more, you can then click on the link and get more information about the topic that you're interested in. But we've appointed its editorial board, and we have one representative from each internal organization unit who must provide information from their areas of work to the public relations department. And so, what are our headings? So the news, brief description of the essential events, achievements in the past 14 days. We also take a look at ourselves from the perspective of media. We look ahead for the next 14 days. And I think so very important, we have this personnel corner, because beforehand, you know, every new employee, it was more or less discussed on the hallway. So we put the gossip from the hallway to this personnel corner, and we give the opportunity to our employees to present themselves. And also, I think very heartwarming goodbyes from the people that are retiring from our ministry, and depart or go to some other bodies. Last but not least, we have citizen-friendly initiatives which highlight the activities that especially benefits to the citizens. The Z, it's a quarterly magazine. It's broader, it's more in-depth. It's got editorials, the highlights of the trimester. The most important thing I believe in the Z is walk among internal units of the ministry. So we present what's happening in the internal units mostly through the interviews with the head of the units. But we also give the opportunity for other interesting people or interesting projects to be presented. But to not be so formal all the time, we have also the headings of Savor the Flavor and Hidden Corners of Slovenia, when we share our ideas, our cooking recipes, and our tips for excursions with others. But the lady on the left, actually on my right, is my boss. She's Secretary General, Rebecca Concilia Žgali. And why am I showing you this? It's because this is her first editorial in VZ, and she decided to dedicate it to the quality management at our ministry. And we are ever so grateful to her for doing this and being our sponsor and helping us all the way around. So going on, the final action that we would like to share with you today, it's the working environment questionnaire, the so-called employee's eye. Again, it started in 2017, actually in 2019, that we've implemented this action that was identified in our first CAF self-evaluation. It was to measure organizational climate, employee satisfaction, and motivation. And since I was all alone in these shoes, I asked the Ministry of Public Administration to send out a call to all representatives of the quality management in the Republic of Slovenia and invite them to co-create the methodology and content for measuring this with me. And so 7 authorities responded to this call. We have quite a clear goal: to obtain the information for strategic decisions, to develop a uniform methodology that allows comparison between organizations, and to identify opportunities for improvement. And I mean, people that work in public administration might understand that I'm really happy that we did that in less than 2 months. We created this methodology. It was utterly voluntary cooperation from all of the people that would cooperate with me on this job. There was a lot of knowledge and experience, and what we created is a modular questionnaire which covers the topics of employee satisfaction, organizational climate, perception of change, and stress at work. And these modules can be used as a standalone, or you can use just one, or you can use all of them, and you can also adapt them to the needs of your organization. And we've conducted 2 surveys up till now, and we are just to embark on another study this year. And to go with the plan, do, check, and act cycle, we can see here that we've improved through our actions the perception of our employees quite substantially in all of the areas that we are measuring. So where do CAF and I meet? They meet in action plan. What we've established for the period from 2022 to 2024 is the following areas that we needed to address, and we did so. Management with objectives, leadership, organization of work, internal communication, organizational relations, and employee development. So let me just wrap it up for you. So I'm quite sure you've heard a lot of time that CAF is a path of continuous improvement. But it's not just a phrase. It is a path, but you cannot take this path through a highway. It resembles more like a hiking trip. Some people are really eager, motivated, They have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. They're trained well, and they reach the peak really fast. And other people are more slow, more prudent, and some do not reach this peak of ours. But nevertheless, the starting point of this is an insight. And for us, that would be the CAF self-evaluation project. And that would be also the employee eye research. And I do strongly believe that if people can look themselves or their organization into the mirror, and if they are empowered for the change and they understand what is it behind the rainbow, I am quite sure that together we can change the organizational culture and, yes, of course, reach any peak if possible. So that's it from our part. And I'm actually finishing up with another photo from the minister's workshop. As you can see, they're raising hands. People are having questions, comments, and everything. So I do seriously hope that me and Mateja were able to keep you awake. And we are eagerly awaiting your questions and comments. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Ksenja and Mateja, for this impressive description and presentation on your improvement journey. Yeah, I made many notes and questions on my paper, which I would be interested in, but I assume that there are many questions also from the audience, from the colleagues. So please use the chat or just switch on the microphone. And yeah, if you have any question, please put them forward. Maybe in the meantime,
Thomas, questions are coming.
Yes, you can.
If this is okay. Ksenja and Mateja, for me the question was, you very much focused on the employee eye and also satisfaction survey and so on. I was wondering what was, because when we do CAF now, we have very much the issue of digitalization, which is then under discussion and how to improve it. We have also very much issues of, it's also human resource management, but it's this performance interviews, for example, how really the management or the executives, how to say, lead and guide staff or the employees. And also the issue of I bring now three things. Mission statement. We always have discussions about mission statement and strategy, which are not properly communicated or not existing and so on. So are these three how to say, issues which, let's say, in my CAF implementations are very often issue: digitalization, performance, how to say, interviews or performance agreements between staff and management, and mission statement strategies. Are these issues you also had under discussion?
Yes, all of them. Maybe if I start and I go just a little bit back to our presentation, I think that the mission statement and the vision and the values, I do hope that we presented that we do have this. It's not translated yet, so I'm sorry, still in Slovene, because it's a fresh new start for us. We did have this document in the prior ministry, of course, but with our new ministry, we have a fresh start and a new start, a very different ideas. Even the values of the ministry are much different than they were before. And what I feel it is the most of important is that actually the employees, we created this document. It was just a minister that would lead the workshop, you know, and gather our thoughts in one document at the end. And as far as the HR and setting goals and revising the competences of the employees. We've just adopted this year a new competence model. Actually, it's not our model. It's the model of the Public Administration Ministry. And they've put out an IT system, which is called MUSA. And we've adopted this system with all the modules that were possible to adopt. And I think we started a new journey with this, with setting goals and with setting expectations and with setting where and how we should develop on a personal level in regards to our competencies. Did I answer all of it, Mateja? Do you want to share anything more?
No, I think you covered everything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so perfect.
Can I? But this means these issues haven't been within the CAF discussions, not on a high level, because everything is now under, how to say, under change. Did I get it right, or was I wrong? Was I wrong? Did you already discuss it in the CAF?
Discuss all of those issues.
Okay.
We actually this year it was fine and tough for me, because as a CAF educator, I would always say, if you have to choose between 50 and 5 actions that you will put into action plan, you should go with 5, and most important 5 actions, and proceed with those. And this year, I think that our team, our people on the CAF project were so involved and so empowered, and also so mature in their thinking, that every single statement that we put into our self-evaluation, the final document, was really had a value added. And at the end, we extracted 107 actions that could be put into action plan. And for me, who is really trying also always to minimize and to go and prioritize, it was so hard, because all of those actions were so great. And when we had the meeting, when we would actually prioritize and then decide which actions I will be presenting to the minister afterwards, we had a really tough job. And then we've chosen 12 different actions, and those actions are in different fields of work. But we today just had the possibility to share 4 of them with you. I think the 4 that we were already involved in, and it was much easier for us to present to you because we know them in and out.
Okay, thank you, Ksenja and Mateja, for your answers and insights on that. May I ask the group, the audience, the people, colleagues who are here, are there any questions? Do you want to hear more? Yes, please. Geni Rusic, you raised your hand. Please.
Yeah. Put your question.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you very much for this presentation. I was, how to say, surprised in a way that a minister led these 2 workshops about the mission, vision, and values. And I noticed, and maybe this is really the key point, so that minister is behind the whole procedure, which is like a guarantee that this work is successful. But I notice also there behind, behind him are 6 or 6 hats.
Thinking hats, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask whether he followed, when he led this workshop, this theory of 6 hats. How to steer the colleagues in this work.
Yes, he did, and he did it perfectly.
Oh, super.
We were exchanging hats. We had a roadshow going on, and he was strict about the hats that we put on, and he gave a lot of space to everybody to speak with the black hat, with the red hat, with the yellow hat, with the blue hat. Actually, he was the blue hat because he was the head of the the workshop, and I was actually taking on the role of the white hat because I was explaining, you know, the next phases, and that's what it means. And when we embark on this, it means that. And I was trying to be the most neutral. And yeah, it was just great. Thank you so much for the question, Guinea.
Okay, we have some more questions in the chat. If I may, Igor had one question. Could you please share which other IT tools you plan to use in the process of action plan implementation?
I cannot.
Yeah, which or Igor, maybe you want to clarify. You can also, you know, put your question via microphone.
No. So I can see it.
Yeah.
Which other IT tools you plan to use in the process of IP implementation? In the process of IP implementation, now there are two things that I could speak about. First, is to follow up the action plan. You know, we are not planning to use any other stuff like MC Teams, but in regards to our action plan, I don't know it by heart. Please forgive me. I don't know, but we do have quite some actions here, and there will be several different IT systems that we will be using. One is definitely our platform of intranet, which is totally new. And we've just implemented as the new ministry, and we are going to execute some actions through this. And then we have the platform of knowledge, which is, again, its own platform and incorporates the Society of Higher Education and Science and Innovation into one platform, and it goes for all of the relevant stakeholders in the Republic of Slovenia. And then we have Eniknarik Center, which is going to implement a new IT system to actually execute all of their processes from the beginning to the end in regards to our customers. Then we also have the so-called EVS program, which is, Mateja, can you help me out with this one? It's a higher education system that holds all the information about our students, and we are going to do some in regards to criterion 6. We are going to do some evaluations in this part.
You did it perfectly, Ksenja.
Thanks.
No need for me.
Then we're going to use IT system when we're going to make some processes. We're going to implement some new processes, and again we're going to use another IT system. Also, we are going to create a new system of electronic public tenders. So I think that's it. I think I covered it all. It's quite an extensive action plan, and it's also very detailed with all of stakeholders and timelines and actions and everything that goes along. Okay,
Thank
so
you,
did I answer this? I think I hope so.
Yeah.
There are 150 employees at the moment, a little bit more, approaching 260 at the moment at the ministry. So this is the new ministry, and beforehand, when we were conducting self-assessment within the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport, there would be over 400 employees, and we also incorporated the bodies under this ministry in our self-assessment. So it was much easier to do the self-assessment this time. Less members in the working group, and not such a big scheme of relevant stakeholders. And anything, do we have any other questions? Okay.
One question we have concerning regarding the action plan you have developed. How many of the measures are easily achievable, and what is the strategy for timely implementation of the proposed measures for improvements?
Yeah. How many are easy? Well, as I said, we kind of extracted like 107 actions, and we put the quick wins into their own table. And these are the quick wins, and we are going to implement the quick wins. Nevertheless, they are not in the action plan. Action plan, it's more serious and much more heavier to execute. So I think that something that we can do quite fast, it would be about 5 of those actions. The others are more strategic. The others are more looking ahead. They will be much harder to execute. Okay, so do we have any more questions? Maybe?
Ksenja, there are more questions. They come again and again. We have one from Mateja.
Okay.
Should I read it, or do you have the chat? I will read it, yeah?
Read it aloud.
I can also,
yeah.
I can also, sorry, I can also pose it. Hi to everyone. my camera is not working, but I can pose the question myself. Hi. So thank you for a very interesting and engaging presentation. And thank you also for the excellent presentation, how the the employees can actually create a document together with the senior management about the vision and the mission of the ministry. So that was really, really interesting. But my question is, do you plan, and probably you do, how to actually make this document and maybe a next version of the mission and the vision aligned with the stakeholders and the customers that you work with? So how will they contribute to the mission vision document, or do you think it's only employees document?
It is true that at this point, even though it will be communicated, of course, strongly also to other stakeholders, not just to our employees, but I'm sure this will be shown in our strategic plans, because our vision, it's quite uplifting and quite, I would say, tough to reach. But we believe we can do this as a community of higher education, science, and innovation in Slovenia, because on our own as a ministry, we cannot achieve it at all. So I'm sure we will have to incorporate our stakeholders into this. And I would also like to thank you personally, because we've actually listened to your presentation in one of prior these kind of gatherings, and we actually took some ideas from you. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for the answer and for the praise. Yeah, I'm happy to see it. I read it because I can read Slovenian still. And it's really a great goal that you post there. That's why I want to. It's a really a vision. So to everyone, it says that Slovenia by 28 will be one of the most technologically and research-oriented societies. So that's why I was wondering, and it's great to hear that you are planning to involve the stakeholders in the development of the document.
We are planning to start with the communication of our new document as soon as possible, but definitely at the end of the year, when we will start with new infographics and new promotion material, and definitely then, yeah.
Okay, if I may bring forward a second question, also Damiana, you also raised your hand. Let's have a look first into the chat.
Okay.
There is one question. Where have you seen the influence of CAF implementation so far, especially since this isn't your first CAF? What was the impact so far?
Well, it's incorporated in all areas of the ministry. It's really hard to point it out. We were trying to show you through the 4 examples that we have shown, but it is more like now into the bloodstream. It went into the bloodstream of the ministry.
Okay, so CAF is already in the blood, in the culture. This is good. This is good. So this is yeah, because, but I will put my question then afterwards, because I have also an impression that you put many efforts into this communication aspect, right? To get people on board, to motivate them. Yeah. So that's really excellent. And yeah, let's go on with the next questions. There is also Tomislav. Yeah. You can also put your question, Tomislav, if you want, in the plenum. Otherwise, I will read it. The question is, what about the implementation of actions that are already heavy regulated, but not in the CAF principle or spirit? How you influence policy owner to align with CAF criteria principles? Yeah. How you influence policy owners to align with CAF criteria principles?
Well, that is, I really don't know how to answer this at this point. We try to go, I mean, the actions that we incorporate in CAF are innovative, but still in line with our legislation. So it is actually kind of hard for me to answer this question. So Mateja, maybe you have another outlook. I think that's it from this point of view, from this time. We do incorporate actions, but are in line with the legislation.
Maybe if Tomislav has something in his mind or some kind of example.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, the issue here is, I'm lucky, since I'm in the ministry that is having a lot of, processes that we are policy owner, but it's not so easy,
Okay.
But there are some, I would say, areas as black hole areas, in criterias, and not, I mean, we cannot find any kind of manual procedure, whatever. For example, stakeholder, I was with Ksenja, for example, stakeholder relationship management. Okay.
Yeah.
Then second is continuous improvement. Then, of course, I have this, okay, somehow annual management plan, or let's say operational management plan procedure, in terms of, I was in contact with Ksenja how to put it together, because I see that the annual management plan is key to drive the complete CAF in terms of, because this P, plan, you must put some, at least in the annual management plan, all these key, I would say, results and outputs. I'm now doing some kind of innovation in this area, and so forth and so forth. Now we have new OECD legal note on user-centric services. I mean, it's a whole new perspective, how to steer. I mean, the Citizens Charter is in CAF, but then again, I mean, how to apply it in the practice, and then complete digitalization. So it's a lot of open topics. The issue here is, if we don't have guidance, I would say in creation, we get stuck, in terms of cannot, there is hyperinflation of actions and question marks in self-assessment, and that could, dead end. So that's something what we are monitoring and try to sort out on horizontal national level, and then the self-assessment, in the future would be easier. That's, let's say, the point what I'm referring to,
Yeah. Trying to
Otherwise, as I see as a solution, because I'm thinking about this, that, one of the actions could be that you write down the policy on the memo from your minister with your signature, saying that this and this article and this law should be changed due to this and this, I see that as some kind of the action that could be done, because, the law is tying your hands. And, you cannot say, I must apply the law and see that the law is not, I would say, in line. So thank you very much. But this is, I would say, the key question, because, compliance is, we were at APA last week meeting. Compliance is, I would say, our main, I would say, baseline in CAF. And you also, I'd say, confirm this, you know, we must apply laws, but then again, laws could be changed too. That's the message.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I believe that it's just, you know, important to start somewhere.
Yes.
It's just, yeah. And that's why also, you know, cooperating with you guys in Croatia, it's really great. And I'm really thankful for it.
No, I would share with you, you know, very soon, you know, how we are approaching this, because I'd say that
I'm looking forward for it.
in annual management report, we could sort out a lot of CAF criteria put together, you know, all of these small pieces of information that actually we need to find when we are doing self-assessment. So I will share with you.
Thank you, Tomislav. I don't want to interrupt this really interesting and important discussion. Thank you for this, not but, and. This is also what stands behind this network, you know, to exchange those views and best practices. And so, yeah, that's really great that you now get in contact to each other and yeah, exchange your solutions. Damiana, you raised also your hands. May I ask you, what is your question?
Yes, I write it just in the chat. So, Ksenja, if you can read it.
I'm not sure. I can hang on a second.
I can read it also for you, Ksenja,
please,
if you want.
Come on, please do so.
Okay. Well, I know that you had two different top management ministers since the first CAF assessment. Which differences would you emphasize that were important to succeed to roll the PDCA cycle, or that would you recommend to other ministries to take in mind when starting? Yeah, which differences would you emphasize that were important to succeed to roll the PDCA cycle, or that you would recommend to other ministries?
Well, I've changed more than 10 ministers during the 3 CAF process. So be persistent, gather the evidence of your actions that were that you know that made a difference. Put out value added actions. Put out what actually worked good for your ministry. And yeah, be persistent. You know, I've changed ministers in between the self-evaluation process. You know, one gave me okay, the other signed the document. I mean, it's just you know, go along with it. And for me, it's also so important to have this team of people that are enthusiasts, of people that believe in the changes in their organization. Because, you know, around 20% of the people are quite resistant to the change. And if you gather around these people that are not, and that are actually looking forward for the change, and that, you know, are going to go with you and are going to back you in your endeavors, I think that this is also very, very important. But if the top management changes, that's just a fact of life. You have to go on, and you have to be really passionate about it, and you have to believe in it, and you have to go through the PDCI cycle all of the time, and revise and improve all the time. I think that's the best cooking recipe that I can give you.
Thank you, Ksenja.
Ja, hvala.
Thank you, Ksenja, for this receipt. Yeah, so you really got this management buy-in, right? So that you really succeeded in this project. It might feel really impressive that also the minister took part in this mission workshop. So I think that this is a really a big and great sign also for all the employees that there is a big commitment in behind. We have also a next question from Igor in the chat. His question is, did you envisage a mechanism for monitoring the action plan? Did you envisage a mechanism how did you monitor the action plan? How you keep on track?
Yeah. For this new action plan, me and Mateja will be in charge. for the last action plan, we at the end, when the minister signs the action plan, he would also sign an assignment for a holder of this action plan. And this holder must be in contact with all of the holders of actions within this action plan on a timely basis. And we have to report to the management, which we do continuously. And we are happy that our last action plan was fully accomplished. And well, we're going to start a new journey just in those days. And we will do it as seriously as before. That's also an element of the help, I would say, because sometimes some actions and some holders of those actions would get lost and wouldn't know how to proceed, how to go on. And in this point, it would be upon me and Mateja to help them out and, you know, do whatever we can do from our point of view, or to speak with the management, or endorse something, or to do a workshop, or to do anything that it is needed to proceed with this particular action. So we take it really seriously. I think that the most important part of the CAF, it's actually the action plan, not the action plan itself, but the implementation of the actions in the action plan. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for these insights, Ksenja, also on the action plan, how you monitor it and how you bring it to practice, definitely how you implement it. Are there any further questions from the colleagues here in the room? Do you want to get to know some more? Please take the opportunity. Otherwise, we have questions, I think. Thomas?
I think we cannot stop now.
May I just say something? Me and Mateja are really looking forward for some further exchange, maybe not right now, but could be later on a specific project, or maybe, you know, a specific idea or a new endowment that we could have together. So yeah, that's what just wanted to say, that we're open for you to exchange ideas.
Yeah, maybe
just very briefly, circling back to my question from that was asked a little bit too early. I mean, you already answered a lot of the points regarding, okay, how do you make it accessible to management? What because you had to, in that case, juggle with 10 ministers, which is like quite impressive. Just maybe to complete that question, do you have then one approach for all levels of management, or do you really pick a bit your targets and say, okay, there I emphasize this point, there I lobby more towards with that aspect? So do you have there some tips and tricks to share to the community? Because management buy-in is one of the most important things from the beginning, so that it's also easier to bring it closer to the people, why they are doing this and the importance. So if you have some tips and tricks to share there, then we would be, I think all of us would be grateful.
It's definitely not the same approach for the whole levels. I mean, you have extremely limited time with the minister if you want to present your case. And then it would be really, I think you have to adapt to the person that you are speaking to, not only just the rank that they hold on. I think that you have to take into the consideration their prior knowledge of maybe the CAF or maybe some other tools that they've worked on before. And I'm quite sure you have to evaluate beforehand which way you want to go and how big you want to go. And I'm quite sure it is very important to have the understanding of the top management. And then you do have to decide how much effort are you going to give into the spreading to, you know, every manager, every employee into the company, because as I said again, it is not possible to encompass everybody in this procedure. That is absolutely not possible. You know, it is a mission impossible, actually. So what you have to do, you have to decide where to put on your efforts. And Mateja did that excellently with our communication plan. And yeah, we all had our tasks, little tasks to do to complete the whole picture. And I mean, the primary thing, the most important thing, I would say, please scan the situation and understand what is in this situation for this particular person most important, and then press this button, I would say.
Thank you. It also about because we heard also from others that they used approaches like a quick scan when the first time that they had to present it to new management, or that they just briefly in the meeting went through the criteria just on a one-on-one, that they understand, okay, what it is about. So like this playthrough, but that really depends on how much time you have with the people. But that really helps with like creating this more deeper understanding.
Thank you for the question. And Ksenja, do you want to give some more insights into that, reflections on that?
Well, again, I must state out that
please.
it is really different approach that I take with different management team. So it is kind of really hard to say that's one thing that is going to work. But what we do have in our process, incorporated in our process, is that we inform the minister, and the minister is the one that always still now sends out the invitation and the information. Then the CAF team started working and what we are doing and how we are doing, and that other employees are really welcome to help us in doing so. So this is one of the things that it's incorporated in the procedure itself, and also the presentation and the sharing of the outcomes of the CAF working group. So beforehand of the project and in the end of the project to the Minister's Board of Directors. So these will be two formal things that we have to click on always. But for the other parts, I would say just scan the situation and put your efforts where you can see results.
Thank you so
And
much.
maybe, I'm sorry, if I can come in. What has worked for us as well is the experience of the previous members of the group, because it was super easier to, when we shared the experience and tips how to think when doing the self-evaluation report or grading each CAF, please help me, Ksenja, CAF criteria, thank you. Yeah. It was super helpful, and I think we managed to create an open and safe space within the group, so each member of the group could take this enthusiasm and different perspective how to see the ministry itself or the processes within the ministry. And actually he or she was this communicator of the story of CAF, not just within the group, but actually further on to the management or his leadership or something. So I think Ksenja managed to put together a really, really great group that was kind of speaking for itself. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for all your questions, and Ksenja and Mateja for all your insights you offer to us. Thomas, I think you have one further question or two, what I see?
Maybe not questions anymore, because I think I would have many, but it was so high value. But I just wanted to mention, because Ksenja said, okay, about future corporations and so on. Huh? And for me, what I take here with me is really this communication issue in the beginning, which you brought in, which is also unfortunately our experience, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work properly. And I think further exchanging on this and learning on this, on the good and bad practices, is a big issue. Because you also mentioned one-day training is not enough. So we have also in our plan, okay, you make one-day training and everything is fine, but we know that's not the case. So here, having, how to say, more experience exchange, because here the success of the CAF, starts or dies. And the other thing is really, we are all now, whole world is working now with teams, or many parts are working now with teams. It's very powerful, and I really appreciate how you brought in, how you used it. And I think there is also much to learn still on how to use it, how to, I mean, it must not be teams, but it's collaboration in the end. It's collaboration with communication. And I think this can be really a boost for improving the quality of CAF implementations in future, these collaboration tools. And let's say most of us are working with teams. So I see really, how to say, even more, but those two, we could start with further exchanges in my view immediately. So thank you very much. I mean, I learned much. That's important for me. And no more questions from my side.
Okay. Yeah. Also for me,
in regards to the MS Teams, I would like to say that it was done utterly by Mateja. So she set up everything, and she was the holder of the whole procedures that we've set up there. And I must say, it was the first time that we've used this, and so she started from the scratch. And yeah, she did a really good job. Thank you.
Regarding this, do we have a minute or two? Maybe we can share just a quick peek our. I will share the screen.
So I stop sharing. I stop sharing.
Yeah, please stop sharing and then.
Okay. You see it on the screen, right?
Yes, perfect.
We can see it.
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So we did special channels. This is a channel for action plan and our communication strategy, communication plan, and these all are individual channels for all of our self-assessment group members. And here is a self-evaluation report, which was, which was put for everyone to see, and for everyone at the same time, everybody at the same time, we could do the remarks and do the evaluation. Please, Ksenja, just really
so it was Mateja put this document, this so-called CAF self-evaluation formulas, and she put it on, and we could all fill it out at the same time, actually. And we were working in groups, as you can see, that yellow dot, if maybe you can just enlarge it a little bit. There you go. And we were working in these smaller groups. So for every CAF criteria, we would have a head of criteria and the people that would go along with it. And so the head of this criteria was responsible for filling out the materials and finding out the materials and evidence and, you know, at the end create those statements, which I said were honestly really good.
You created small self-assessment teams for each criteria.
Yes, we did.
And the self-assessment teams then were at the same time working on a common document.
Yes. Yes.
So that there is no copy pasting or sharing through email, and you have to copy paste the yeah. Sorry. So yeah, that's why we decided that we will not take upon the bureaucratical, that we will take off the bureaucratical Ksenja. Barriers. Yeah, obstacles. Yeah.
Workshops, what was then, let's say, the task in the workshops, or how did you organize this then?
There were not workshops, working groups.
Working groups, okay.
Yes, we had a workshop. For each. We had workshops before entering each phase of the project. So before we started the self-evaluation report, we would have a workshop. Before we started preparing the action plan, we would have a workshop. Before we started, for example, quantitative gradings of the self-evaluation report, you would again have a workshop. But those workshops would be short and just to the point of, but very, very operational. What do we have to do in the next phase?
And here's an example of one of the workshop sheets that we did. And just to show you who we were, this is our dynamic in the group. And just one picture, maybe here. Yeah. So it was really, really open space.
I think it was quite a relaxed atmosphere, but you know, we did a lot of serious work within.
Good. Thank you so much, Ksenja and Mateja, for all your insights, and maybe also, of course, the topic of IT collaboration tools, how to use them for the CAF, yeah, and also this kind of question of workshop design, what you implemented, yeah, with these small self-assessment groups. These are really, really interesting approaches. So I think we should exchange more on that. And also dedicate future sessions on, you know, workshop design, how you are doing the CAF, how others are doing the CAF. So this is quite useful, and thank you very much for that. Thank you for Ksenja and Mateja for your experience, offering your insights on the CAF implementations in your ministry. Thank you for all the colleagues who are here, yeah, raising questions, all your motivation and commitment in the instrument of the Common Assessment Framework.